Hello, my people. And thank you, East Coast. If you have stayed awake, thank you. And you can always come back. Oh, the lighting is, see, if I lean forward, then the lighting changes. We could have used a couple more hours, not going to lie, but did not want to leave you hanging. I figured it would be better for you to watch the sausage being made rather than to have you wait on the sausage. That makes sense in my head. Hello, Christine's people. I will not take it personally if you fall asleep. Hello, Florida, Sunshine State. Neighbors. Oh my God. I love like the idea of you guys getting to know each other. My eyes are still a little tender. I go to the doctor on Thursday. I had a CAT scan. Was it a CAT scan or MRI today?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay. He drove me there. But I have a new primary care physician because I realized there were things I was putting off because it took like an hour to drive to my doctor. And that's not bad in some places, but if it was something like minor, like I thought the eye thing is just an eye infection, the internet said it'll clear up, it'll go away. And then a week later, it would come back. And then I'd like, do I really want to drive an hour? I went through that 4 times before I went to urgent care. And then I went to an optometrist, which doesn't do what I need, by the way. Oh, I went away. Why am I little?
Oh, it's doing nothing. Sorry.
Why am I little? Have I been little long?
No. I was trying to.
What can we do with these lights that they're not like my face like ooh, looks like I'm having some divine revelation. Oh, come into the light. This is one of those lives. I get into production, like where I could get carried away with production. And I probably did that. I realized that I can't do a show every day that I produce myself basically and have it be as polished as I would like. So, I get going. I get going. I mean, the topic is Erika Kirk and basically how she has well, what was the working title for this was Erika Kirk's children don't have a chance in hell. And then I thought, I don't want to you know, speak that over them. What I want, what I hope for them is that when they start asking questions, which is they will, they will know who Candace Owens is. My videos on Instagram, they get a lot of views. I know Erika has seen them. Eventually her kids will see them, at least some of them, that they'll start asking questions. Of course they will. If this issue can join hands across the aisle, boy, that aisle is getting smaller and smaller all the time. But if this issue can join hands across the aisle, of course her kids are going to have some questions. So I started pulling clips, and one clip would lead to another and would lead to another, and it would remind me of something else. And so all of a sudden I have like 42 clips. And then I segment them. And then I think maybe I will, group them by category, like all the weird things mom did. All the time she like lashed out with what seemed to be displaced anger. Like, why is she this angry at Candace and people that are asking questions and not like the guy that killed my dad? Why did she say that this guy, how did she know? How did she know that this guy killed my dad before anybody else? Within 2 days, she knew. She declared to the world several times, this guy killed my dad. How? How did she know that? Because she said this and then this happened. And she works with some weird people. And these pastors are really creepy. And some of them don't have to go to seminary, and some of them are tied to, sex trafficking, or not necessarily tracking, abuse allegations, or protecting those who have abused. A couple of them, two of them, have given people positions on the staff. One of them paid for their house with $1 million cash. Sounds like some shady characters. One day, Mac and Gigi will get online and they will see that video that she refuses to watch and swears they will never watch. They will never watch it. In for a rude awakening. I mean, our kids tend to, go through phases of not liking us anyway. And this is a case here. On my hypocrisy knows no bounds in many ways. Yeah, we're going to focus on Erika today, but this is the pot calling the kettle black in countless ways. I have 8 children, 4 birth, 4 adopted. I had depressive issues pretty much my entire life. Would try one medication, it didn't work. It would work for a short period of time, didn't work for long. Try a new one, then a different one, which didn't seem to work. And then they'd increase the dosage, which, 10 years later, we find out that medication, Effexor, allegedly, increases anger issues. And they increased that medication 3 times because it didn't seem to be working. So I moved out to California, and Doug and I were married for 18, 19 years. I give Erika a lot of grace when it comes to dates. I'm not great about them. I heard Barron go on about that the other day. I know my kids. I know my wedding anniversary. I know my kids' birthdays. And I was like, well, do you have 8 of them? Yes, he does. It was a nightmare for me when the school would call me about something and ask me who the kid's homeroom teacher was. I was like, duh. Like, it got to a point where they stopped asking me those kind of questions. I should have made a list on the fridge. Anyway, it was a lot. And we were so broke. We were so qualified at the poverty level because our heart was in the right place, but God will provide is not the best financial plan. So when I hear Turning Point and Charlie and at his memorial, them saying, have more kids than you can afford, you might want to pray on that one. So I moved out to California because I had gotten involved in a relationship that was going to kill me. One way or the other, quite literally, it was going to kill me. Move out here, still need a doctor. Go to another doctor, and he goes, Christine, you are not depressed. You're in the bipolar category. And I went, what? What? I was 50 years old. In one person, all the therapists that I had seen, over the years, there was only one to ever suggest that I might be bipolar, and I dismissed her completely because she was also my mother. That's a joke that I do from the stage because comedy helped me work my stuff out. When I was in the phase of the increased medication, I mean, the dosage getting higher, getting higher, getting higher. That was in the midst of that relationship that was off the rails. Not Doug, not Doug, but the most amicable divorce ever. Was so weird. My friends' kids, I mean, my kids' friends would be like, I thought you said your parents were divorced. But I didn't think I'd fall in love again, and I did with vodka cranberry. Again, this is a joke I do, so if it sounds canned, sometimes it's hard not to slip into that mode in telling this story. So my self-medicating went through the roof. I was on the wrong medication. I was in a narcissistic, abusive relationship that I was too ashamed and embarrassed to admit. And I almost said got pushed to the edge, but I let myself get pushed to the edge. But I was just trying to survive, not an excuse, just reality. And I got a bit angry because, 3 times, effexor, allegedly. Just be careful if you're on it. And the guy went off on me, and I revved up my SUV and drove it into the front door of the house. And that story alone launched me into the comedy scene in LA. I used to tell my story in 2 separate sections because you only had like 8 to 10 minutes. And so one would be about the 8 kids, one would be about driving the car into the house. I eventually learned how to blend them. But people, if they worked with me, because sometimes you could have 10 comics on a show, you do 3 or 4 shows a week, like big deal. I mean, really busy schedule, big deal kind of thing. You don't get paid out here for that, very rarely, because it's like a gym and then you go out and you do your tour or whatever. So, shoot. I go off on tangents, and I've been like conscious, like there's been 3 times so far. I'm like, okay, stay on point. And I lost it, but launched me into the comedy scene. I made a choice that I would not let shame get a foothold in my life. I had to leave. I had to get away from Nashville because I had to get my bearings. Had to get my bearings. I was not going to live another 3 months. And came out here. Doctor said, it's not depression. And I had dismissed this guy because he was like mid to later 70s, like getting ready to retire. The office was like set in the 60s. I went totally ageist. And within 2 weeks, probably within 2 weeks, it's like, oh, this is who I am. Like just that, the weighted blankets, they're pretty awesome, by the way. If you have anxiety issues, I can't recommend them enough. They're like bean bags, like in all the squares, and they weigh you down and they help, just comfort you with the compression. It felt like that had been lifted. And then I realized only then was I able to recognize the fact that I was self-medicating through alcohol and through some prescription medications. And I went, whoa, okay, I don't need to be doing that. It was April 2020 during COVID, during the height of, or just, the global pandemic, when our nation had deemed that our government had deemed liquor stores to be essential businesses, I decided to quit drinking. And Doug, who had moved out, we were shacking up in Florida. my ex-husband, no, and I'm sorry, in Florida, you got the Sunshine State on my mind because it's sunny out here too. Um, so Doug, my ex-husband became my boyfriend and we were shacked up together. And that was so much fun to say. I didn't want to get remarried again just because my Southern Baptist in-laws, I wanted to just one time hear them explain that to people. A little displaced anger. So I couldn't even recognize addiction issues until I just had some clarity. Some people who don't necessarily have the mental health issues can go straight to recognizing that alcohol doesn't serve them well. Honey, could I have some water? Like, my mouth's sticking together. I told you it was down to the wire. So, um, I am not unaware of my own sin and shortcomings and failings and fuck uppery as a parent. So, inevitably, there will be some air of judgment. It's a fine line between discernment and judging. It's the thank you. The bigger problem becomes condemnation. So, for example, when I say there's not a chance in hell for these kids, that's condemnation. That's writing the story. Doug, the curtain's kind of open. I don't know if you can pull it that side. Right. Thank you. Oh, we turned the light off because it's kind of. Sorry, my ADD. Oh, it's not. Oh, that's. Oh, it's your closet light that's on. So, anywho, there are challenges with relationships and with kids. What?
Video's finally loaded.
Oh, the video's up there?
It's loaded.
So, on a fun note, are you guys with me? You still with me? I went kind of heavy. I went kind of deep out of the gate. I don't want to be a Pharisee. Don't want to be a Pharisee. So when I say, or when I was tempted to say, even as a title, even as a joke, an attention grabber, Erika's kids don't have a chance in hell. I don't want to speak that because I believe there's grace and redemption. And I envision the story that they one day perhaps even see this. It was tempting to title this. I can hear all that. I can hear all that. It was tempting to title it To the Adult Children of Erika Kirk. I thought that would probably be a little creepy. Now listen, this whole thing, this whole life won't mean anything to you if you don't believe these kids exist. then maybe you'll just like entertainment value. I don't know. But a lot of people who followed Charlie Kirk are like, these kids don't exist. So my question is, did you believe Charlie Kirk? Did you respect him on any level? Because if you're now coming to this place that the kids aren't real, that would make him a psychopath. Like that is grounds for dismissal of anything he ever said, because he would have participated in this scam, this lie, this fraud perpetrated upon the people of the world, that he does in fact have children. That would make him sick and twisted, and you would throw out the baby with the bathwater, no pun intended. Anything he had to say. You couldn't just rest on Charlie Kirk's laurels alone if you believe that. Sometimes I don't think people thought that one all the way through. I do understand the questions about surrogacy, what kept me in the camp of these kids being real, although I did ask questions. I mean, you can see over the course of the last year me kind of processing this whole thing. Why she wasn't pregnant. I mean, why I'm sorry, why you didn't see her pregnant, which to me comes down to vanity issues. That's what I absolutely believe it. Plus, I think it triggered depression issues in her. I think she's bipolar. We tend to recognize our own drunks, addicts, bipolar. You know your people. Candace the other day when she was calling out this woman who has tormented her and her family and George that worked for, was it the Daily Beast, the Daily Mail, that had the DUI photo out. And so Candace shared that and she was like, she's a drunk. And I went, oh, I'm far enough along in my sobriety, like 6 years now, Doug too, that it didn't stick to me. But for a minute, it was like, oh, I'm a drunk too. I'm a drunk. There's another podcaster that you know and love who talks about his sobriety.
Who's that?
Oh, I'm not saying.
Oh,
No, I'm not saying that.
the whole anonymous thing.
Yeah, that whole anonymous thing. I could talk about you though. I could talk about you. On that note, let's just go down this road because it's public and he talked about it publicly. Brad Pitt is drinking again. And I thought, honey, was losing your marriage and the relationship with your kids like not enough to like, was that not your bottom? Like, it's so funny. It's textbook for addicts who have real consequences. Like there's real consequence. I used to say, well, I didn't like put vodka in water bottles and I didn't, hide it in the back of like the toilet tank or something. And then I thought, well, I did though get to a point where I was having a glass of wine before the kids came home from school, or I did, mix a little drink in a tumbler, in a Think Happy Stuff tumbler when I had to go to a soccer game or a play or something, But I went off on a tangent again. But it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder of just how easy it is to I don't know, label people. I didn't get a DUI, but I could have. And I don't know, I didn't know anything about that woman, her history with Candace. So when I saw that picture and I saw how like broken she was, you see some drunks and they are defiant. It was still in her system at that point when she was getting her picture taken. I was still in her system. You've seen angry drunks. Some of you have experienced angry drunks. The fact that she was broken and weeping and just sad, I'm like, that works for her. I don't mean from a PR perspective. I mean, that's a good place to be, being able to recognize your brokenness, which is something Erika Kirk does not do. And that is something that separates us. Erika Kirk has an amazing story, a fascinating background. Some of it, I believe, gets painted in a mysterious, cynical, nefarious way. Some of those things I don't think need to be, except that she's lied about them. And she's lied about a lot of stupid stuff. In those 8 years that narcissist was in my life, he would lie about the most stupid stuff. Where'd you go to lunch? Burger King. Why's there's a McDonald's bag in the car? I didn't care, but I thought, you kind of take note. Like, did he not know? Like where he was? Oh, you discover he's not at a work meeting, or the work meeting is in a bar or something. But it's like, just tell me. But the gaslighting, the little lies, there's not really a little. It's like having a little shit in your brownies or a big shit in your brownies. There's still shit in your brownies, and you don't want the brownies. Unless you're working through codependency issues and everything else. And you get yourself stuck. And there are relationships with a few of my children that still, they were caught in the crossfires of that. And I don't say any of this with joy. I want to make that really clear. The stuff where Erika is effing up, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not just looking for content. It is a genuine concern. I want to make this bigger, Doug, on the screen. Okay, there it is. One of our monitors went down, and this will be a little discombobulated, but such is life. We'll work with it. I've worked with it for 57 years. I can work with it in this next hour or two with you. Where Erika messes up and essentially then denies the gospel, denies, I'm gonna speak Christianese because this is her camp, right? So there's this free gift offered that you can know God through Christ because it's a gift of grace through faith. But she said so many things where she has said things that make it clear she doesn't believe it. Like she doesn't want to stand before God someday. And when he pulls out the ledger, says, well, I forgave you for everything except you not forgiving Tyler Robinson. Really? There's an exemption clause. She says several things like that, where it's like, okay, you don't understand the gospel. Trump does the same thing. Well, I'm not going to be forgiven for these. Like, I'm not going to make it to heaven because of like the stuff I've done. That's what he's thinking. So, I watched a video of mine recently, just some of it, and started to count how many times I said so or and then I'm like, I'm not going to watch this anymore because it's starting to bug me. So thank you if you're pressing through it. So in no way am I delighting in the failures of a mother as being, the imperfect creatures that we are, who are all destined in some capacity to be blamed by our children for something, some with more validity than others. I, at the end of the day, long for healing for these kids. I immediately went to for these kids. I don't have that heart for Erika at this point. Unless, let me reframe it. Let me let this sink in here. Like, if she, what are you looking at, honey?
Why the light went off?
Oh, it's the little makeup light.
No, but it's plugged in.
I know, it's weird. I mean, I think it's helpful for our own state of mind, our own spiritual well-being, instead of dismissing people completely. Oh, they'll never change. This will never. To say, yeah, I have my doubts, but like imagine how powerful it would be for her to come clean. What if all of this are just what I would call personality defects? Her compulsive lying about how many years she played basketball, or her honors or not in college, what she was doing in New York City when she was really just sponging off a friend of the family because she was poor and broke and didn't have money growing up. And she and her mom really weren't that close. And it was the pageants that brought them closer together. And yeah, her dad was around, but she had 4 stepdads, or 1 dad and 3 stepdads. And when she slipped with Megyn Kelly and said, what I went through in my childhood, she really had to overcome some things in her childhood, which led to these defensive and this wall and her need to project a certain way, even though she doesn't realize how she doesn't pull it off. And then she's involved in an organization of people that were just sucking up to Charlie Kirk. These pastors, they make a lot of money speaking for them, being on that roster. These influencers make a lot of money speaking for them and staying on those rosters. So people were, I mean, in Blake Neff, where else was he going to get a job? A racist POS that he is. It says something. It's whether we want to admit it or not. It says something about Charlie Cook that he knew why Blake was fired from Fox and still chose to laugh about it. When people said, hey, Charlie, like publicly on social media, Charlie, that guy, he said these, he stalked this woman. He did some really horrible, and Charlie would just, haha. That says something. So there is a lot of drama that Erika could have escaped if she just owned her shit. But she can't. She's at a place right now. I almost said she can't do that. She's at a place right now where she is not able to do that. And part of that is because she doesn't believe the gospel. When people are clinging to Old Testament verses, it gives you some good insight. The throwing out judgment and condemnations on others because they haven't experienced grace themselves. Okay. Please show the whole video of this. Oh, the whole thing always goes up there. I never have the energy to edit. So the last one, what was the one that we did that had all the technical stuff? The doxing one. Oh, that was huge. That was so much emotional energy. That wiped me out, you guys, for like 3 days. And I didn't know if we were going to be able to use any of it, but we were able to edit it. But so far we're so good. We're good, right, honey?
Yeah. That was a video was in reference to something else. But
what? Oh, okay. Doug is like, don't read the comments because I'll answer a question or I'm like, block that person. And he's like, no, you don't understand. There's a backstory. Oh, I don't like the lighting. Oh, I didn't mean to turn it off though. How do we turn it way down, Doug? What's
the dial?
I know, but why is like my forehead still glowing? Oh, look behind my head now. It looks like I have wings. See, now it just looks like highlights. God, it is really though. All right, I'm gonna get over it. I'm gonna get over it. You guys, somebody shared. You know what? I'll tell you who shared it. The guy that was not healthy for me found a woman where they're a bit better for each other. This is what, like, I couldn't tune too much into the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff because, yeah, she's like got her stuff, but sometimes there's a certain chemistry. And, he was horrible. You talk about addiction issues. He's been public about it. He calls it the monster when he goes that way. You've seen videos of it. She's too, but the combination and the way he could just be charming, make pancakes for people outside the courthouse, and the way they set it up, that he kind of flirt with the attractive female attorney, knowing that that would trigger her. It was really systematic. But that doesn't mean he can't have a healthy relationship with somebody else, although sometimes people make better choices sober, which he's had periods of. I only talk about that because it's public. It's public. And he's talked about it. But Amber Heard can also have a healthy relationship with somebody else. Just like my ex is always going to have his stuff, but found a healthier balance with this person that is actually a very close friend of mine now. Doug dropped that right on cue. Doug and that guy will never be friends. But when this woman needs somebody to talk to, she doesn't have to do a lot of explaining to me. I get it. So she is the one actually who messaged me when Charlie Kirk died. She reached out to me. And why did I bring her up? Is that what I was talking about going into this?
Because
Oh,
Samantha's
yeah. And she is the one today that messaged me that Candace Owens used my daughter, who I moved out here with in 2016, 17. It's up for debate. I can't remember. We get it wrong. My daughter has a video clip from TikTok that went viral and is still in circulation. And it is the one where this beautiful young woman says, "What are two clips that have the same energy?" It was a trend, as the kids call it. And Candace used that trend. And I would not have seen it, but my ex's wife saw it and sent it to me. And so I thought, how perfect is that? Mother-daughter stuff. We're talking about kids stuff. And
What are
Candace
two
did that.
clips that give off the same energy?
You know how to read.
Yes.
Okay. Can you
What
start
are
it?
two
Go back.
clips that give off the same?
Oh, I can't hear it. Hold on. That is our daughter, Samantha. Hit it, Run.
What are two clips that give off the same energy?
You know how to read.
Yes, I do know how to read.
Name 10 books.
Do you know any of the charges he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course.
You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
What are two clips that give off the same energy?
Okay, stop it.
The studio, this
Can you pause it, please? Could you hear it? Okay, so what can we do to fix these? Because I've got to be able to hear the clips. How fun is that, though? Yeah, I would have had a more fun reaction if I realized I couldn't hear things again. But the whole rest of this thing is videos that I need to be able to hear. Baron shared about that a little bit. I have a great appreciation for the technical errors that Baron experiences. Every time it happens, Doug says, see, it happens to Baron. Nothing's playing right now, so. Check in the sound again. Check in the sound. This happened once before. It's frustrating because I can't hear. I'm gonna put it on. It frustrates me when Doug is to the side and he's like, put it on. And I'm like, just talk to me normal. Put it on. Put it on.
this chair. Every day you loved it.
No. But yeah, Samantha's beautiful. She and I moved out here. You guys can hear it, but I can't hear it. And right now, in this moment, the world revolves around me. because I need to be able to hear it. No. Oh, but that video.
No one will ever replace my husband.
Now I do. Now I do.
But I do
Okay.
see some similarities
So
of my husband.
let's go back to the beginning. But then just pause it right after her. Check, check, check. I want to see Samantha again. This is a long time ago. At least 5 years. I think. Are you going to hit it or you want me to hit it? To start it?
Clips that give off the same energy.
You know how to read?
Yes, I do know how to read.
Name 10 books.
Do you know any of the charges he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course.
You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
What are 2 clips that give off the same energy?
Okay.
The studio, this.
Okay, can we need a plan. So do you want me to start and stop it?
It's fine. I can't hear it. I've never seen this video.
Okay, so we need a plan. Doug had a meeting tonight, so I just don't want to delete. I don't want it to go all the way back to the beginning, but
It won't unless you drag the little ball at the bottom.
sometimes I have to remind Doug that his tone sounds a lot worse when people don't see his face. And he's like, my mic is not on. And I'm like, they know. And I don't want, one time someone reached out and was like, got triggered because of some of her own experiences and was like, are you okay? I can hold my own. I do it with a little more tact on camera.
1 out of 100
1 out of 100 what?
people thought that.
Oh gosh, that would be I mean, more like 1 out of 10,000. Like,
Thank you, honey.
yeah. Okay. Is your mic on now?
It is now.
Okay, good. He's faking. It's like you can hear it. So yeah,
Oh, Christine, whatever do you mean?
I get the echo though. Okay. We still got we're figuring out the technical stuff. We're getting there. But yeah, Samantha is amazing. She actually was a host on the Tony carpet. So when Kristen Chenoweth followed me on Instagram, I was like, hey, mom's pretty cool. They never think their moms are cool. Who is it that we saw? Jason Bateman. His last show was Ozark, and was it Tom Hanks? We heard several actors. It was so funny. Once you tune into this thing in your life, you hear other people say it, that like their kids don't, like Jason Bateman said his daughter, like older teenage, like hadn't watched anything that he was in. Bill Hader, Brooke Shields. So what I'm saying is I'm right with all those people. So when you think Bill Hader, you think of me. I didn't realize Bill Hader had kids that old.
They're like middle school and grade school or something.
Oh, okay. Like Brooke Shields, like she did a documentary about her relationship with her mother, by the way, and mentioned like her oldest, like an older teenage daughter hadn't watched. I don't know if she hadn't watched anything. Oh, the other one is Will Ferrell. Like that, like his kids aren't amused by him at all, per se. He didn't say that exactly, but just like Will Ferrell is like my go-to, like Step Brothers, the Talladega Nights. Like I can watch those movies just on loop, and I just like the energy, the air. Talladega Nights was actually a passive aggressive kind of slam on some issues in the South, but it was done so well. They like embraced it, as they should. it is a great film. It's very fun. But apparently Farrell's kids, does he? I don't know if he just has sons, but they're not amused by him.
Can you?
What?
Can you answer the last chat? This addresses.
What's the last chat? I need you to be specific.
The one, Erika, I meant the video.
Christine, I meant the video of Erika and the ex, the one from The Amazing Race. Watch that whole video. I have. And what she says after they say sex sells, it's against our religion, she says. And she says something as she pushes him down. She says something about Charlie, like it's not the same Charlie, but you can watch that entire video. Project Constitution is the one who shared that first, I believe. And I refer to it often. Yeah, it's from 2015. It's an audition tape. She and JT Massey, her baseball playing boyfriend, who went into the minors right out of high school, she kind of she chastises him for being a little less educated. And he essentially, I'm paraphrasing, said, well, I was following my dreams. And she's like, well, you can go back to college someday. Like, it was bad. But she also looked really happy. Really happy. And now she's in this. Whoa. It's bad. All right. So here's where it's going to go off the rails organization-wise a little bit. I mean, like, not the organization, not the org, like Andrew, God, when he says the org, there are like horror movies based around titles like that. The org. What was the one with Tom Cruise and the company that he worked for with Gene Hackman? And
The Firm?
The Firm. Yeah. Okay. I didn't even get all. Oh, can I have my phone? I didn't even get all the issues that I wanted to talk about. I kind of had some opening remarks and I kind of implemented them. I kind of did a blend of everything, which makes this not particularly polished, but I think you're okay with that because I never have been. And maybe you should be a little cautious when I am one day. It's like, she's changed. She has changed. Okay. So John 8:7, I already touched on this a bit, but let any of you who is without sin cast the first stone. So I'm aware that it's a stones, I got stones in a glass house kind of situation. That's why I was very transparent about my stuff. Going to try to stick to discernment, little bit of judgment. We judge. We judge like who we want our kids hanging out with back in the day. Like we have to make judgments about things. The word gets a little misconstrued. I don't want to go into condemnation. So I'm going to make the judging was them catching this woman in adultery or accusing her of adultery. I don't know that they caught her and bringing her out. There was a judgment like this needs to be Jesus. He needs to take care of this. And what Jesus said is don't throw the stones unless you're perfect. Throwing the stone would have been the condemnation. Bringing it out was judgment. We think this is worthy of death. Stonings didn't always lead to death, but it wasn't a party, at least for the stoney. So a lot of people are like, don't cast stones. Yeah, don't cast the stone. Don't. That went off the rails a little bit. I also made a note. Nothing will end a friendship between two women faster than criticizing one's parenting skills. If you ever like see if you got a friendship that you care about and you see their kid kind of doing whatever, you don't if you're young here, offering parenting advice not the way to go. Not the way to go. A friendship is not at risk here. I also think there's a lot we can learn from this. Oh, the reason I believed that her kids were real and that she has them and that they're hers and that they're hers and Charlie's is that if it were some secret that Candace was protecting for Charlie with Charlie's death, I think she would have let that rip. I think she would have put it on blast that, hey, those kids, maybe not on blast, but she would say such. She would leave a breadcrumb or two where one of us would pick it up and go, what? But no, the only time I heard her specifically refer to the children, and not that I couldn't have missed something, but was when she was on Sean Ryan's podcast, and she referred to Charlie's children, his children. I don't remember the exact quote. It was a 4-hour podcast, so I started to look, and I couldn't go all the way through it. But.
Let me read 2 super chats before we lose track of them.
Okay.
I can't say the first name. Sanchez 1535, who gave thank you for $20. Sorry, but I've lost working hours, still working. You're a riot. Many comedians suffer from depression. I'm so happy we got to know you. Sad how tragedy brought us together, but very thankful for you. God bless. And then Jennifer Smith, who gave $9.99. Oh my God, we have the same damn story on many levels. I feel you deeply. Love you.
I don't think we have to say the amount when they give super chats, but thank you so much. Baron does. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
Well, he didn't today. I have not seen Baron do that, but you guys tell us. Does Baron say that? Did he say Candace sent in $49.99 and said it was from Andrew? Did you guys see that? I only saw the clip of it. I thought it was funny. What?
Well, it's interesting that the hosts keep track of it and not the back crew. So
I don't know what you're talking about. What back crew? Daisy?
Me. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have something you want to share?
No, let's keep going.
Okay. You know what? What? That's where you go. What? We always think not we always. There's that little voice that tends to be our own, that's not necessarily prompted by us, but when shame gets a foothold, that it whispers in our own voice that says it's just you. No one else has done this. It's just you. I had a pastor's wife who said after in Franklin, Tennessee, this is like Baron and Candace's backyard and front yard. What, Doug?
Oh, that's
what are you laughing about?
Well, they're not going to know which one's the backyard and which one's in the front yard.
Yeah, but I know. I had been on a church staff. We had been missionaries. We had 8 kids. We were connected with a lot of people in the music industry. That was something, you can't hide like that kind of thing. And at some point I thought I went into denial for a while, but it wasn't that much longer where I'm like, okay, shame could take me out. So I think I'll try stand up. It actually took a little while before I went into stand up. I went into background acting work. That's how I first got into acting work out here, because they don't do background checks. Central Casting does not do background checks. I applied for IKEA. I applied to be an Uber driver. I could not get a job even driving for Uber. Yeah. I couldn't get a job. Middle class white woman. So add some other dynamics into that. The funny thing is that it's been expunged. Like, it's not on my record. Like, people could do background checks and what it wouldn't come up. So the world wouldn't know about it unless I talked about it. But I can't not talk about those things. And you realize you're not the only one. A pastor's wife reached out to me after hearing it and said, I've wanted to do that. Like, people have these thoughts. And then a couple years ago, there was a TV series where the opening scene is the woman driving the car into the house. I was like, what? Honest to God. I thought, did somebody, because I talked about my story so much, I was like, did somebody sell my story? That's not me. Seriously, I wish I could remember the woman. You all would know her. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, people do things. So anytime I watch a breakup, a show where there's a fight and they throw things out the window or something gets broken, I go, okay, it's not just me. Not condoning the behavior, but it's not just me. Shame wants to isolate us. And I wish that Erika realized that if she were more transparent about her story, people could relate to that. So when she tries to pretend, she doesn't say it, but when she tries to pretend that she was all virginal when she met Charlie, if you want to be a woman who gets to Charlie, you need to be a woman who would attract to Charlie. Really? Roll the clip of her saying that she is supportive of porn. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be supportive of porn. This isn't about an opinion about porn. But there's a lot of things getting put on blast right now because it's contradictory to what she's trying to portray. One of them being that she gives a about her kids because the actions say completely otherwise, as do her words. I give examples of that. I'm giving examples of basically, I already did a video about this almost a year ago of what not to do when a significant loved one to your kids dies. Basically, don't do anything that she did. And we're going to look at that. And we can learn from each other's mistakes, but it's bad. It is so bad. I just want to make sure I catch these notes. I just want to say, I don't believe Charlie Kirk was an actor. I don't think he was a good actor. And he would have had to have been a psychopath to get on his podcast, to sit across from her and talk about Gigi going to dance class and doing Trump's dance and talking about trips to the zoo and all that stuff. He would be a psychopath if he perpetuated that whole thing. And then my mind would go to, well, then of course he knew what all this was connected to. And he just had a consciousness of guilt moment. I mean, you would have to break everything down and break it apart if you really believed that he lied about the kids and the kids don't exist. Okay, let me just scroll down. I mean, it would be great if I said, and they're going to struggle with this, and here are the clips. I needed another day to do that. They are indubitably, the kids are going to ask why Candace Owens cared more about what happened than she did. They're going to be told something completely different. They will be told something completely different. And then they'll look into it. They'll watch and they'll go, well, why didn't mom ask that question? Why does mom get so angry about people asking questions? Why wasn't she that angry at the guy who killed dad? Why did Candace Owens care more about what happened than mom did? Why did a left-leaning, mature woman who lives and works in Hollywood express more sincerity and care about this thing than mom did? By the time she addressed the nation on September 12th, she had already whispered over the casket. She had already had a member of her team do selfie style filming to show her bent over grieving when the coffin left Air Force 2. I was like, that's creepy. That's weird. This address the nation pissed me off a bit because it was so divisive and political. And I was like, I was hoping it wouldn't go this way. But sure enough, it did. I still did not post about any of this stuff. Not till 9 days later when the memorial hit. I was like, no, it wasn't the fireworks. It was the content. It stood out to me that Erika, in this September 12th address, used the term blueberry budget, and that she didn't know how to explain what happened to her 3-year-old daughter, but she said that Daddy was on a work trip with Jesus, so he could afford her blueberry budget. I had an opinion about that right away, but moved on with my life. It got my attention. Her hair. Do you know how long it takes to straighten hair? That looks like a keratin treatment. The way how slick her hair is. People are like, her nails were done, when she did the coffin thing. But she has said things that lead me to believe she has always been a woman who has her nails done. When she is asked about how to attract a husband, she doesn't talk a lot about internal character. She actually refers to things like getting your nails done. After she says, get your blood work done every 6 months. Charlie was like, don't have sex before marriage. And she's like, okay, don't have sex before marriage. Her first go-to, without a beat, get your blood work done. Because that's who Erika Kirk is. And that was a great answer. And then she fell back into line. Blueberry budget is often used to refer to a fund for things like family adventures and special toys.
So it's the daughter's fault that she wanted those things and her dad was out working for it and got killed.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. The entire message is it's your fault. And Dad's at another house because he doesn't want to be here, and work is more important. She laid the foundation, point blank, for work is more important, and then look what she did. Look what she's doing. Her choice, her journey, the consequences will be generational. Just talking about her family unit, not just the world, like the war and gas prices and everything. But blueberry budget, there was talk about that was some little mustache guy code word for something. I couldn't find anything about that, but it is referred to a slush fund for, sorry, I put on lipstick kind of quickly and it's not settling well, or lip gloss. They are going to have questions about her interaction with men, thanks to her fawning on Jesse Waters and saying, oh, Jesse, you're amazing. I didn't pull up that clip, but we got the JD Vance one. All right. That's all of the notes on there. Let's just share. I'm going to share some of the September 12th. So this
What are
is
2 clips that give off the same energy?
after. I'm going to start and stop, okay?
Yeah. Ooh, we took out the screen. Back to the beginning. So.
Oh, it went back to the beginning?
Yeah.
All right. So let's not take it off the screen in the future. Let's just keep it like this.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you're seen.
Yeah, that's so essential right now. I'm like, Urgh. Okay. Oh, again, this lighting. Okay. So we're going to watch Samantha again. And then I'm just going to let it roll into clips from the 12th.
Yes, I do know how to read.
Name 10 books.
Do you know any of the charges he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course.
You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
What are 2 clips that give off the same energy?
This studio, this chair. Every day you loved it.
The actual press was across the street. So this is her person getting these shots. Bad wording there.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
I wish I would have, in a perfect world, if I had more time. I did a video on this once. I wish I would have put up their engagement photo where she is holding Charlie the exact same way. The exact same way. And when Megyn Kelly brought this up and Erika was just laughing like, oh, if you've got a problem with a hug, basically it's your problem. But she doesn't hug every man this way. It's very selective. It's very performative. She doesn't lean into everybody like she did Trump and latch on. And look, he doesn't care. That cracked me up about the whole thing. JD Vance is like, bitch, this is about me. Like he was coming out to do his thing. He doesn't care that much. You think he really cares? Do you think any of them really care about Erika Kirk? That is the world she has put herself in. Because she thought, my observation is that with someone from that somebody who has the level of financial insecurity and instability that she had, Charlie had the money and the family, which is the work family, which is not that uncommon. So filling what's called a primal wound there. The whole purpose of these few clips are the kids are going to see these and have the same reaction that we like. That's weird. Mom put on a microphone. She may not realize, the kids may not recognize it right away. The first 20 times I saw this video, I didn't think about the sound quality, but then I was like, she is mic'd. And I think I said it about a good week before you saw your other people saying it. But sorry, I got a little bit of ego. Like, I'm like, cool, I picked that up. Yeah, she was mic'd. They're going to go, oh, mom. Okay, wait, mom, the sound is really good here. Did you put on a microphone? And why do his hands look funny? Like, they're going to have questions. The question is, will she engage with them? And there is a lot of indication that she won't. She doesn't like being questioned. So weird that she had people film.
He loved.
Okay, we're in this format, the video's getting cut off. So I need to be able to see her. Okay. One of the things that body language, phonics, whatever, people picked up her rapid mood shifts. As someone who's experienced some of those myself, this affects kids big time. Like what mom are we going to get today? And Erika has repeatedly shown 3 moods within 5 seconds. So there's a couple clips of that.
I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks?
I can't even.
Want me to say go Ducks, so
I don't think
have
he
to
cares.
since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children, and he loved me with all of his heart, and I knew that.
At some point, the kids are going to ask, Mom, there were certain things you talked about a lot. Like how much Dad loved you, how you were his vault, how he trusted you with everything, how he told you things he didn't tell other people. I only know that because I'm his wife. And he told me things that he didn't, I saw things you guys didn't. These are all things that she says repeatedly. That would never even cross my mind. If you know widows or what, like when Kobe Bryant, Vanessa Bryant, like if it's there, it's there. Why you don't have to present that to the world. It's like you don't have to, it just comes across as defensiveness, as a damage control. And at some point the kids are going to ask questions about that. It's very creepy. It's very, very weird.
Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Our campus tour this fall will continue. There will be even more tours in the years to come. America Fest here in Phoenix this December will go on. It will be greater than ever. The radio and podcast show that he was so proud of will go on. All of you already know what Charlie would want you to do. You know.
If you notice, she's done this a couple times. Well, I've heard her do this at least twice, where she says, like the staff, they know what they need to do. The volunteers, they know what they need to do. It comes off like she doesn't know. Like she doesn't know how to communicate what they need to do. At the leadership conference, she said, for the kids, for the high school and college kids, God, what'd she say? Because I got distracted thinking about how she said, if she could get out there with the hellish week she had, confronting the guy who murdered her husband, then they could get there too. But she said it in a reverse order, but it was just so bad. What was she saying? Oh, you know what to do. So she says, God, there's nothing more cringe than watching somebody who thinks they're pulling it off and they're not pulling it off. It's just so ick. And so she's walking in her silk pajama set with her hand in her pocket that I don't think ever left her pocket. And it did one time when she was like, why? Like, why do things happen? If I'm talking, can you make me bigger? And then flip it back. Okay. Why? But she said something like, when I walked into the meeting and I saw, she gives somebody's name, like we should know who it is. And I saw Jim Smith. I didn't ask, who are you? I knew him. I know his family. I didn't say, hey, we need to reevaluate this. Usually I get it exact quote. I'm not get that right now. But I didn't have to tell them what to do. They knew what to do. I've seen a couple interviews where she is asked straight up questions about the plan, the vision, the model. And she can't complete a thought. Like she cannot complete a thought, not a sentence, not a thought. Can't deliver the message. Can't do it. I have to tell you that the last 4 or 5 days, I did a couple of videos that were not Erika Kirk related. And then I was wiped out from the docs one that we did. And so I had not like heard her voice or seen her face in probably 4 solid days. And when we pulled up a clip to edit it, I was like, oh God, like it was next level repulsive. Like the only thing I can equate it to is when I get off when I walk through the airport doors from the inside the airport in Nashville to out, just outside and the humidity just hits you. It was just like, whoa, it was so gross. Just the energy, the evil, the darkness, the, ugh. Okay.
The movement's not going anywhere. If there isn't a chapter, can't find one, then start one. There is no excuse. If you want to get involved, the best way you can do that is going to tpusa.com. That's what he would say every day from this chair. Every single day. I watched his show every day, and he would always say, if you want to get involved, go to
She could have shared quotes of anything he said. He said things that even I agreed with. She could have shared his words of wisdom that he spoke to the kids, hopes for them, anything. And it's a freaking infomercial. So it's been implanted in the minds of the kids that dad's on a work trip with Jesus so they can get stuff that they don't really need. A Blueberry budget's a slush fund, so it's not like basic needs. It's like extras. And work is more important. And then the heart of this is work.
Join our movement at TPUSA Faith. Come to America Fest in December. Sign up right now for that because I would love to see you. Charlie would. He'll be there. Bring your kids, bring your family.
I say all this because the way that God has carried me is the way that he wants to carry you.
So she's laid the foundation clearly that I may have missed the part about, I didn't put the part in about Blueberry budget. What do you tell a 3-year-old? It'll pop up at the end. This is where I didn't have time to nail it. One of the segments here, sorry, let me back up. So she's laid the foundation of work is more important to your dad. Think of the things that get ingrained in our kids without even saying it. And she said it repeatedly. So that is laid. And then she sets this standard of not just being idealistic, but this standard of perfection, like Charlie always answered every email. So there's no vulnerability from Erika Kirk. There's no transparency. It is work is more important, and the standard is perfection. As a matter of fact, I modeled this for you. And yeah, she says it.
Through your trial, through your life, have asked, have you seen the video? Why would I ever see that video? I don't need to see that. I never want to see it. I will make sure that my kids don't ever see it. Never, never, never will see that video.
The internet's a thing. Right there, if any therapist heard nothing but that, you're like, these kids are being raised by a woman in denial. That is absurd. Instead, it's how I know I need to prepare myself. I need to prepare them. It's impossible. They're not going to see this someday. I can protect them for as long as I can, but We live in a fallen world. I know they're going to see it someday. I can't even get my head around. I don't even know how to prepare them for that.
I need to see it. Because every single thing that I do, every decision that I make, when you kiss your loved one like that, your whole perspective on this world changes completely. I operate very clearly. Whatever decision is in front of me, it will go through a very strict lens. Is this going to bring me closer to heaven, or is it going to bring me further away from heaven?
Every decision she makes, she said. Not, I want to live my life in a way where my actions reflect that I made this decision looking at higher things in life. No, it is always, this is what I do. I always do this. Charlie was perfect. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. He was perfect. I live my life. Every decision I make is, and what's that do to a kid? What if the kid is struggling? This is why I was so upset of hearing the things she was saying to these high school and college leaders about if you have a burden, don't pray for God to lessen the burden or share the burden. Just deal with it. The whole approach was just deal with it. Don't ask that God take it away, because I need you to do this. Like, the point of this whole organization is that we elect Republicans who will support Israel. That's it. That is why they exist. Period. She doesn't care about those kids. Not even a little bit. She doesn't even care about the message as much the goal. They are a means to an end.
Curiosity can totally derail us as Christians. Completely. And it doesn't allow the Lord to use your life in a way that glorifies him.
That was the second half of something that got cut off. She says in several different occasions, on several different occasions, don't ask questions. People grieve differently. Don't ask questions. It is so clear she is talking about herself, even though she tries to make it a group project, but she's talking about herself, constantly defending something she says she doesn't care about. She doesn't care what people think. It's just noise, and spends so much time defending. The kids will, there's no one more aware of our hypocrisies than our children. There'll be a point where she walks off stage and one of them will just kind of look. If you could see my eyes, it would pull this moment off so much more effectively. But they'll just look at her. There'll come a point she can't even look them in the eyes when they stop believing the slop that they're being fed. Yeah, she literally is saying curiosity is bad because it will distract you. It will distract you. That is cult speak, my people. That is cult talk. Don't ask questions. We are your family. We understand you. Other people don't understand you. You are the most misstood generation, but we understand you. Come home. We are family. We will give you everything you need, she said at AmFest, as long as you are with Turning Point, which makes sense. But man, when she says it all together, she's a freaking cult leader is what she is. Don't ask questions. And think of the couple times she has shot down people who are like, "What?" Heckler people like the Epstein thing. You're supporting a pedophile. She laughs, shuts him down, gets beachy. And all the Christians is, kids are going to see all that. So dad said, ask questions. You said dad was perfect. You're not doing what dad said. What's the deal?
And so just keep that in mind when you're reading things. That I would much rather confuse this world and not make any sense to it than be a reflection of it. And that's how I want all of you guys to feel.
Laying the foundation. If she is not understood, it's the world's problem. Don't ask questions. If you're being misunderstood, because everything she does goes through this filter of serving the things of God, making heaven crowded. So she can't say it's, so we can't say that she's done anything wrong because she's preyed on it. A lot of people don't realize the deflection they are putting up or the barrier they are putting up when they say, yeah, I prayed about it and I'm going to do this. Are you up for some human discussion? We've been friends a long time. I have a couple thoughts. Are you up for that? Or because God says you're good, then it's a done deal. When people say, I've prayed on it and this is what I'm doing, they're not asking for discussion. They don't want it.
Charlie would always say this.
Always.
And it rings true to me now more so than ever, that every decision you make is a mark on your soul.
All right. Did Charlie say that? I didn't follow him. Every decision you make is a mark on your soul. Doug, help me process that one. Because decisions have consequences, but there's not a tally. There's not a ledger. Good check, bad check. You think she's talking more about consequences?
I mean, on some level, I think it's true that every good and bad decision you make makes you who you are at your core, affects you. Doesn't mean
it reflects who you are.
Well, but it can affect who you become as well. But I don't think it can be said as like a black and white, binary kind of statement like that. I think there's more nuance to it and layers to it.
Well, because the decisions that we make are based on our environment and our history and our upbringing and the schools we went to and the travels we had or didn't have as children, which is why when people get arrogant about anything, it's like you didn't choose where you were born or what was given to you or not.
But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of layered. Yes, those are not context, but environmental, where if it's 10:30 at night and I know that there's probably going to be negative consequence if I go eat a piece of chocolate cake, then that affects me.
Yeah, it's not a mark on your soul.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's. And what difference does it make? I mean,
can our souls even be marked?
Well, I haven't looked at it in a long time because it's not something I worry about, but there's scripture about giving account for your life and, or judgment day. I don't know. I can't even really think about how specific it is.
It's the Old Testament.
But, like you were saying before, if you believe the gospel that Jesus atoned for our sins, his death, then it's not something you really dwell on. Your motivation shouldn't be, I want to do good because I'm scared God will zap me. It should be, I want to do good because of the things God has given me and Jesus dying for me, and I want to live that way.
Yeah, like if the only reason you aren't graping or murdering people or stealing is because the Bible told you so, then you got some problems. Like, Like those are wrong, even in cultures where the laws aren't written by Christians, and that's a whole subject in and of itself. So that the moral code is based on biblical principle. This is going to be a challenge for some of my tribe out there, but because the Bible says so, in the way to go for an answer. Doug's giving my Southern Baptist boy husband over there is giving me a look.
Well,
But
that sounds kind of absolute. I would say it is a source of guidance, but it has to be taken and applied to the context correctly.
yeah, I want to. I've just listened to Erika talk so much, and she says she uses this language, and so I get tripped up on it, and I don't, because I would say, like, I want to challenge you to. I think it's food for thought. I think it's good for our thinking to be challenged, because our thought process, especially for those of us a little older, it it's like a record. Some of you might have to Google what a record is, like a disc music, and
A vinyl record.
a vinyl record, and the needle is in the groove of the record.
Put the needle on the record.
I swear. And please don't, like, I'm having the hardest, I'm so tired right now, and I'm having the hardest, like, a challenging time keeping focused. Our thought process, and literally it's a chemical thing, and that's why we retrain our brain. Why they say things like it takes 21 days to for your mind to embrace something new into your routine. So in our thought process, it's like a needle in the groove, and it goes round and round, and it's just there. And so it takes something to kind of knock the needle out. And so I'm knocking your needle out. Can we just use that whenever I say I want to knock your needle out? That is what I'm referring to. Instead of like, I want to challenge your thinking, I am knocking the needle out. If what you innately go to is, well, the Bible says so. Think deeper. Chris, there's nothing deeper than the Bible and spiritual things. There's nothing more deeper than spiritual things and our soul. And remember, there was a time when people had this connection to God and knew of Christ, and the book wasn't thrown together yet. But when we justify being assholes and acting contrary to the things of Christ and the actions of Christ and the commands of Christ, because the Bible told us so, then no, there's God, think deeper. Did I lose everybody? That's the way it is in what the feckety land. Think outside the box. You are safe there. If you believe God is omniscient, omnipresent, and you have been bought by the blood, then you can go outside the box and still be covered. And it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. God is cool with that. He can handle it. Jesus, the night before he died, so stressed out, all his buddies have fallen asleep. He said, pray with you. This is what I need. He was self-aware enough to go, this is what I need. And they fell asleep. He's so stressed out, sweating blood. God, I don't want to do this. Take the cup, let it pass. If there's another way, is there another way? Who is closer to God than Jesus? And he expressed fear, doubt. You can have those things. We know the Bible says he was without sin. You can express those things just like you can express anger and it not being in a sin category. Big difference between anger and rage. Big difference between fear and hopelessness. Moving on, but ask questions.
I mean, I even read the C.S. Lewis book when he lost his wife, and he was so angry with God. And I remember reading that book, and I'm like, how? I can't be. I'm not angry.
Okay. I heard her say this on more than one occasion, that she's not angry with God. This is the most casual, matter of fact way. I read C.S. Lewis's book, one of the most.
His one book.
He had several books.
I know. I've read them. That's my point. Is
his book on death and grieving. And damn it, Doug. What was I saying?
I knocked your needle out of your groove.
Fact. Don't you think when Charlie and Erika did their little podcast together, at some point he didn't want to go, damn it, Erika, or she didn't want to go, damn it, Charlie? And don't you think on some level that would have been a lot more relatable? Yes, that was a rhetorical question because I can't hear you anyway, and Doug doesn't want me looking at comments.
Someone said, I agree, Christine.
So she says, I read C.S. Lewis's book on grief, and I couldn't relate because I'm not angry at God. It's not the only thing he talked about, by the way. I heard her say this in so many interviews. She's not angry at God. It just makes her look like an asshole. Really does. But again, no transparency.
This book's really hard to relate to.
Trying to figure me out, being thrusted into all of this.
She's been thrust into all this. For a mom to try to communicate to her kids that you need to be strong and don't care what people think, yet she addresses it so much that clearly she cares about what people think. When kids see their moms contradict themselves so much, a lot of red flags. They're the things that mark the soul are the things our parents do or don't do. The things that we do or don't do as parents. There are other things that mark the soul, but in this moment, that's why it's referred to as a primal wound. A child. We have 4 adopted children. They were older when we adopted them, but there was this book called The Primal Wound, and it was giving parents a heads up that even if they adopted a child that came straight from the birth canal of the birth mom into your hands, into your arms, that child is still very much aware that they're not hearing that voice anymore. There is like a soul level disconnect.
Your legacy die, baby. I won't. I promise. I'll make Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen.
See, she could just be like, I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to keep it going. And at some point the kids could be like, yeah, mom was continuing the legacy. No, what the hell is that? I'm going to make it the biggest thing this nation has ever seen. Yeah. What to tell the kids? Okay. Now we're getting into I mean, you don't even need a Psych 101 class to know that just this alone, like, try not to cuss, but messing them up. We'll mess them up. God is big. God is great. God can redeem. God, God, God. But man, there are things to glean from this, things that we can learn as parents. And some of you might know somebody who's lost a spouse and they're struggling with how to tell their kids anything. This is like, should be taught in a class of what not to do. The religious damage, you know how some of the most rebellious kids are like kids of pastors and missionary kids. It's the same environment for these kids. These kids will go through a season of questioning, rebelling against God. I mean, there's a point when faith has to be made their own. So there's questions to be asked, but she's saying you can't ask questions. That's going to translate to more than that will translate to her relationship with the kids.
Well, and I think we saw that in our youth ministry. We had high school kids that were very, doing Bible study, bringing their friends, very into it. And then they go off to college, and because they haven't asked questions or they haven't had other experiences and are exposed to all these other things, they kind of leave it to the side, versus where if somebody's kind of asking questions along the way, it's not as
right.
It's not as big of a shock, and they're able to contextualize their faith and understand it in a real world sense versus some suburban Christian bubble.
Well, and just, our mind wants respite, right? Oh, our kids are in a safe place because we worry about so much. One of our daughters like smoked for the first time at a youth group, like during like Wednesday night youth group. The essay that happens, like people, when they hear that I live and work in Hollywood or whatever, they'll like, oh, the abuse issues out there. And I was like, I was in full-time ministry for over a decade. Like, you don't think I saw more abuse just because of my experience of what, I was in. I saw that more in churches, in schools, in camps, my YMCA camp. Most of those perpetrators are people they know and leaders in that kind of environment. So it's, who it's not? Look at the crime stats. It's not the people that are being hauled off to other countries. Statistically speaking, look it up. All right. It is fair to have genuine concern for these kids. And I worked with kids for a couple decades. So I innately just go to.
Our daughter just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, Mommy, I missed you. I said, I missed you too, baby. She goes, where's Daddy? What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3.
I need you to make her bigger. Sorry, I kind of didn't mean to break up the momentum of her emotional pull. Yeah, you can make me small. Make me small. What do you tell a 3-year-old? Not everything you're about to.
I said, baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget.
He's gone. He's not coming back because he's on a work trip with Jesus. Jesus took away her father. What her mom just embedded into the mind of this 3-year-old is that he had to earn money because there are things you want that are in the frills budget, the blueberry budget, not the necessity budget. And he is with Jesus. And you don't think that seed has been planted of F that guy? God, I mean, Charlie would rather be with Jesus making money to buy things than ever come back. Than ever come back. Okay.
This is my children's favorite section. This is the section that I tell them that in heaven, Daddy he's orchestrating with his friends to send them little presents so that they never forget that Daddy's watching over them.
Do I even have to say anything? You will know your father loves you when you get a present. She is teaching that 3-year-old girl that love is stuff. This makes me want to smack a bitch.
Whenever I bring the kids here at the office, I always let them grab one thing to play with. But I mean, it's really sweet. So you remember I told you that Daddy was working with his friends from heaven to send you presents every day so you always know you're loved?
So when they stop getting presents, their dad no longer loves them? This it's so basic, right? It's so basic. Do you think Erika is intentionally trying to F up those kids? I don't. I don't think she is. I don't think she wakes up and says, how can I F up the kids today? What we're seeing there is an adult woman who wasn't parented well. She's telling us everything about herself. You need the stuff. Stuff is love. You know you are loved if it comes with stuff. Love has to be tangible, has to be expressed in a thing. So if Charlie wasn't really into the money, she told people in their condo complex that they stayed in their mansion, their 5-point whatever mansion, for one night because Charlie was like, no, this isn't us. There's a podcast where she complains about having to cook on the grill out. Like if she wanted to grill, it would be the community grill and you don't know what they've cooked on there before. She wanted the big house. She wants the bling. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with liking bling or wanting a big house. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is wrong to teach your children that that's how you know you're loved. And these are, up to age 6, those are like some foundational, these kind of impressions get locked down.
See?
This is Sesame Street.
It is.
Sesame Street.
I know, it's Sesame Street, but all these are for you, baby. These are from Daddy's friends.
Why don't you read this to me?
What friends? Oh, because she says, Dad. I mean, she means people he knows here, but she kind of made it sound like Daddy is on a work trip with Jesus and his friends sent. Her communication skills are just so. I've started to give her more grace about things she says that sound like, what? Like, did she just say that? Understanding that she doesn't understand what she's saying a lot. Like her word choices, she is just like not book smart, which is why she's overcompensated, which is why in the Amazing Race audition video that she did with JT Massey in 2015, she claims to be summa cum laude when somewhere else she claimed to be magna cum laude, or vice versa. She couldn't keep straight. Who cares? Who cares if she was or not? She does, because it makes her feel more than.
Read it to you.
You told your children that Charlie was going on a work trip with Jesus. Are they still asking, where's Daddy?
Yes, my daughter continues to ask. I told her the other day.
You can make it bigger. This interview was in, I think, November. It was, I don't think it had been 2 months. Are they still asking? Are they still asking? 3 months in, she's like, I haven't been into the bedroom, and it took months before I went to the bedroom. It'd only been 3 months. I mean, this is 2 months in. Are they still asking?
Just miss Daddy, and where's Daddy? When is he coming home? And I said, baby, Daddy's still with Jesus. And I said, they are so busy. And I said, if ever you want to talk to Daddy, you just look up to the sky and start talking.
Did she just say they are so busy? I didn't catch that before. So where's Daddy? He's with Jesus, working, making money so you can get things. He's so busy. Wow.
He can hear you. Daddy is.
I'm sorry, I just interject. That wasn't my cut where she's going to that weepy thing to this. This one, the sound guy must have been going nuts in all her the bangles, whatever, just clanking on everything. But a microphone kept getting jostled and makes that rustling sound. And she, right on cue, honey. They had to edit out of this, and it happened with the Barry Weiss thing too. There were questions from audience members they cut out altogether, and then they released them later. And I'm like, you probably should have just left them out.
He's in heaven. She goes, so does that mean he's in a different house? And I said, yes, baby, he is building a house for us.
Charlie would not be building the house. It's all metaphorical, but what's the verse about a house being built? He has gone to prepare a place for you. Bam! Nailed it. Charlie's not building a house. Charlie didn't go to prepare a place. Now, this is interesting. There's some school of thought that it is one house. Now, I don't believe heaven has anything to do with houses, but there's a verse that I've gone to prepare a place for you. There've been interpretations where people end up thinking we're all going to have we each have our own cool, perfect mansion, right? It's actually been interpreted that it's one. Again, I'm not being literal, but for those that were breaking this down, did the exegesis on it. Is that what it's called, Doug?
Yes.
Um, that the way that scripture is written in the original language, it's not many mansions, it's one mansion, that it is one with many rooms. I think the oneness is the takeaway there. I remember being 11, 12 years old, and I was raised Catholic, and I had a children's Bible I was reading, and it said something about that in heaven there's no mother and father or, husband, and I just cried. Oh, I just cried because are my parents not gonna know me? No, the Bible makes it clear there's not that relationship in the sense, that's binding per se. Like, you look at how desperately Erika is clinging to her identity as Charlie Kirk's widow. Like, you just don't care about stuff like that. I've heard near-death experiencers share that. I mean, actually, one of the common threads is that as much as they love their parents, their siblings, their children, when they are released from their body, you just are kind of like, it's all good. They're going to be fine. Like, all the worldly cares are just gone. Like, in very rare, I think I can think of 2 testimonies that I listened to out of like hundreds, where the woman was like, this is going to destroy the nurse who made the mistake that led to my death. And so going back will be a blessing to her. Otherwise, she's left with us. And there was somebody else. It'll occur to me. But I'm talking 99.9% were like, man, my kids were these souls that I was, we were on this journey together. We were used to help create their bodies. We didn't create their souls. And boy, we all learned a lot from that. and and it moves to this like collective thinking. And none of that is contrary to what the Bible says about there being a oneness, one house, community, not the separation, that you realize how connected everybody is. We get scared to think outside the box. We hear near-death experience and we're like, New Agey, that's not in the Bible, but it actually is in the Bible. And these ideas don't contradict each other. And again, it's okay to ask questions. The truth will stand. It's okay to think outside the box. But pay attention to the people who freak out when you do. Why would a pastor need to freak out if you started asking questions? That's why, like, when people, I used to be one, would get wrapped up in trying to convince somebody of a biblical truth. Or, this is the way it is because the Bible says so. It's the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, and that there is a lot more gray than black and white. The people that succeed in life, this is just a reality, like just a human nature reality. The people that succeed in every area of their life are flexible. That doesn't mean they compromise their belief system, but they can have the conversation. They can be flexible. It doesn't freak them out to talk to somebody with a contrary opinion. The people that scream the loudest over that stuff, they're expressing their fear that they're wrong. Just like the people, statistically speaking, that are railing against trans, LGBTQT. There's probably a new letter out by now. They're working through some stuff themselves. I know somebody like that now. Otherwise, what? I don't want to say who cares, but the Bible says more about the judgment and the condemnation than what is being railed against. And why? And what's the point? To berate them into faith? Be like me, you sinner going to hell person. Your life's F you, throwing out a Bible verse in the midst of the rant. Oh, okay. You're right. I want to be more like you. Being salt and light. Salt is the flavor. People are wrapped up in shoving the steak down people's throats, and be the seasoning, not the meat. And the light, not a laser, just a light. Okay. The painting that I had behind me a couple days ago sold. Getting us closer to the laptop that I need. Thank you so much. I am blessed by the love and support. I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but I appreciate that very much. And the painting of the week is behind me, and it's one I thought twice about putting it up because it is one of my absolute favorites. It has a lot of texture to it. I didn't sign the front of it, so it can be hung in different ways. I absolutely love it. Doug, would you remind me to show it later?
Yeah.
All right.
Some people would say a mansion. She goes, "You think I could go sometimes?" Because it's for the kids. And that's how I can keep telling the kids, Daddy's thinking about you and loves you. And I thought these people are human. We're all grieving in our own.
Okay. So this clip is in a different section, which is the displaced anger. And the kids inevitably one day will ask, "Mom, why are you railing at the people that were asking questions?" Yeah, some are assholes. Some people really want to know, and we're asking significant questions. And all she's concerned about is that it is upsetting. Not that it could be upsetting to the children, but that it upsets the family, not her children, but the team. Protecting the team is more important than truth. That's inevitable. That's a fair question. Mom, I didn't see you get this mad about Tyler. It went right to, I forgive him, with an ad boost. What was it, $1 million or so that they put behind boosting that? It was good for business. But we didn't see the anger. But the people who ask questions get it.
And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead,
She do.
Whoops.
She didn't.
Sorry. We're getting back to that. But in here, you're going to have to multitask with my thinking here. You are high IQ. I know you can do it. She gives two examples that I'm going to share where she compares herself to, here she's comparing herself to Mary, the mother of God, blatantly comparing herself to Mary, the mother of God. And the other one is Nehemiah. When people start comparing themselves to saints and everything is everybody else's fault and problem, huge red flag. Like, Mom, did you really compare yourself to Mary, the mother of God? Yeah, she spent a lot of time doing so. So that's what she's doing here. Thank you for bearing with me.
She didn't accuse. She didn't try to explain God. She wasn't pulling her hair out. She just stood. She had her friends next to her.
Okay, I have to interject here. I did a whole video breakdown on this. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please consider doing so. I'm relatively new to YouTube, but there are some great videos that breaks down some solid stuff. One was her comparison to Mary. All we know about Mary was that she was there. And at one point, she is with John. That's it. She goes on for several minutes creating a narrative that doesn't exist. She said, Mary didn't scream. She didn't. Really? Have you watched The Passion of the Christ? His skin was ripped down to his bones. She didn't scream. She was patient. She had her friends. She's making it sound like a coffee run. And she's just thinking about herself. I wish she would scream. People can relate to that. Just scream about the right thing.
She stood with composure and divine power of patience.
I've always been heaven focused, but way more heaven focused now. It's important, but life's not easy. And you have to renew your mind every single day, asking God constantly for grace.
Charlie would always tell me, if anything ever happened to him, to make sure that I would step in.
I'm so sorry, Doug. The dogs are going nuts. Like, can they get out to go? Is the sliding door open so they can pee?
No, that's not what they want.
What do they want?
You.
I know, but I'm like, they usually like will sit on the bed and just like, but they're, why, what do they want? It's so funny. Like they're just the smallest one was whining, but I went down to touch her and she like starts doing her, no, I need something from you. Do they have water? I think he's projecting. Chris, yes, they just want attention. We both haven't been sleeping great. Honey, come here. Come here. It's God, I'm sorry, don't snap at me, please, but they do have water because they're doing their little water turn dance thing.
went from the bed directly to you.
I know that. That's
Yes,
not
they
what I'm
have
asking.
water. Yes,
See,
the doors-
do you ever ask somebody a direct question and you get a little, okay. All right.
Run turning point. This is something that we always talked about. We were not blind to threats. And some people have said, well, you should have put an interim in there. Really? My husband, during our whole marriage, asked me to do this, his wish. And I'm going to put an interim in.
So the kids will hear this and go, so dad was a hypocrite. So dad, their whole marriage, every time they had a podcast talking about the role of women, in the back of dad's mind was, but if something happens to me, because we talk about threats, meaning they knew I could get killed. So now let's put her on the chopping block next, because it's more important that she run this organization than it is for the kids to have at least one surviving parent. She's not going to be able to talk herself out of this one. It's just, she is setting them up to resent their father. The pendulum between being mad at God because he took dad, and then dad being on a work trip and work being more important, and then mom doing work, and dad wanted this. But see how she's like washing her hands of the guilt. I know this is hard, kids. I know it's hard, but this is what your father wanted, and you can't argue with him because he's dead. You can't argue with me because I prayed about it and you're not supposed to ask questions. You can't argue with your dad because he's dead. And the whole vision was to make heaven crowded. And I know you're kind of roadkill here. No, bad word choice, but there's something more important than you going on. That's the message. These kids will need a divine intervention, which will mean stepping outside of the zone, thinking outside the box. But their world is obviously going to be very controlled and on lockdown for years. So we pray for them, and we pray for Erika, and we pray. Easier to pray for the kids.
That could possibly burn the whole thing down. And then I have to come in later when I'm ready, which no one's ever ready for anything in life, and resurrect the ashes.
Look how pissed she is. She's pissed. You think that energy doesn't translate at home? She's pissed. She didn't give herself time to grieve, to process any emotion. She jumped right into this, into the office, out of the gate. She's pissed. That's dangerous. She's dangerous. She is not a safe place for them. That's discerning. That's not judgment. That is, if I were a child services worker, that's who we worked with. We adopted through the state of Tennessee one older son from China who had some medical stuff going on. So we know the system. Child services would be all over this. There'd be a lot of notes, a lot of sticky notes going up around the office. Not saying it, they carry out a visit or a home inspection at this point, but she's dangerous. She's not stable. She is deeply emotionally unstable. From I just want to go home, because you could be triggered. You could be triggered, but you can't ask questions. And you can't be concerned because she's preyed on it. And if you question it and see something is off, then you're the problem, because everybody knows the people that pursue the things of God, they're going to get attacked. Everything is set up so you can't question. So what is she going to do when the kids do? Well, her response here is to everything is anger. That means they are not in a safe place because she goes to anger.
Absolutely not. And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
You're on out number 2. God bless you. Hold up your book.
Stop in the name of.
She goes on that show to rant. The host is like, "Good morning," and she like won't even say good morning because she's locked and loaded and ready to go. It's hysterical. Because she's a performer. She had worked herself up to deliver a performance there. If it were natural, if it were authentic, good morning, good morning, hey. And then the subject comes up and then you work it. She was ready to go. The whole purpose of that was for her to have her little temper tantrum. Her kids will watch this and go, yeah, Mom, but you were also selling the book. The book was in your lap the whole time. So you weren't just going on the show to rail on Candace Owens. You were selling a book.
Amen.
Now we're going into the just doing everything contrary to Dad. Everything contrary to Dad. Dad was not a Nicki Minaj fan. Nicki Minaj had some favors she needed from Trump. Please look up what they are specifically. There were charges involved. She was not a citizen. She wasn't here legally. She did it all wrong, basically. So they owned her. Charlie wasn't a fan. Doesn't matter.
Those of you who know, Charlie was very good about having a surprise for every AmFest. And we are so blessed to have you.
Hello.
Not exactly someone who I would consider is living a moral life, just kind of looking at some pictures of her.
I was telling Pastor Russell backstage.
Speaking of not a moral life, and I've already mentioned this, these churches on the lineup for the Make Heaven Crowded tour, with the exception of a few, there's some dirt, especially this one. And for liability reasons, I'm not going to go into it right now. But this one, Rob McCoy, he didn't go to seminary. He's the one flopping around on the stage mocking David and the David and Goliath. He's the one who's talking about how much traveling he's doing now that Charlie's dead. He's the one who says that Charlie wanted him to start TPUSA Israel, when I know for a fact that he turned down 120 million, 140 million. Oh my God. Because he didn't want to do that. He turned down the money. He didn't want to do it. And this person said he went from talking about high school ministry to Israel, and his face just dropped. And Rob's out there going, yeah, this is one of the last things he said to me. Frank, freak show liar that he is. She is not surrounded by people with integrity. Andrew Colvett. And the kids are going to know that. Kids and dogs, they know. They know.
I have to say a really special thank you to Greg and Kathy.
Listen, with a pastor like Pastor Russell, you'll be solid.
I remember those days where I literally would roll over next to Charlie and it's like 2 a.m. and I'd be like, we're having a sleepover.
Okay, that montage made no sense whatsoever. Both Greg Laurie is on record of having protected one of the worst pedos in Romania, who systematically, spiritually, the abuse was insane. That pastor knew about it, and he was going to be part of the Make Heaven Crowded tour. I haven't seen his name on the roster because that got a lot of press. And allegedly, the lawsuit's still going on. The evidence is damning. But these are her guys. These are her go-to guys. They're all tied to some really dodgy stuff. And now and then another clip was thrown in there where she is sounding like when they first got married, she rolled over and, oh my God, we get to have a sleepover. That's what it's like when Charlie and I got married. No, there's a video. I didn't have time to pull it up. But I think it's in the Amazing Race one where she's talking about, oh God, again, I did a great video where I paralleled her telling her dating story with Charlie, how they met, and the one with JT Massey. And she said, here it's like 2 a.m. for Charlie. She says the same thing about Massey. Like you get to have it's 3 a.m. and you get to have a sleepover. It's the same shit. It's the same stuff. Although when she talks about the restaurant that JT Massey took her to, she's impressed with that one. She almost didn't go on the date or the meeting with Charlie because she said she wouldn't have gone if it were a date because it was Bob's Burgers. It was like beneath her. She didn't even know where it was. She says, I lived in Manhattan for 5 years. I didn't even know where that was. The kids are going to pick up on all that. So you wouldn't even have met with Dad if God didn't like trick you. It was Charlie who tricked her. Boy, that is a story. He knew, I mean, it was an interview to be his wife. And now when you're deep in that world, it's like, oh, that's cute. No, that's really jacked up. That's an integrity issue. Hey, I want to, see if hire you for this job. And that wasn't really what it was about at all.
This is really cool. He read all of them. All of them.
The emails, whatever.
I don't remember the last time I slept. I couldn't sleep last night.
Erika, who's with me now, addresses all of it from the
The whole thing about I couldn't sleep last night. They're going to notice how over the top dramatic she is. I don't remember the last time I slept. That was September 12th. He died on the 10th. We know the night before Gigi slept in the bed with her. She indicated sleeping. So it had been 2 nights. Didn't sleep on the 10th, didn't sleep on the 11th. I can't remember the last time I slept. 2 nights, Mom. Mom, she's so dramatic. That's that you dismiss people like that. They're not going to trust her because it's just Mom being dramatic.
Good to see you again today.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public, but can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing.
Talk about drama. Somebody pointed out the fact that, look at the controversial figures, presidents, listed off all these people. Nobody's messed with their graves. Most of the world didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. When you look at her, like when I go to tag her in something, like, I expect the number to be so much higher than it is of her mentions. Like, this has, like, become a significant part of my life, not to most people. And secular revolutionaries are gonna come, like, desecrate his grave. Mom, she's so dramatic. And when people come out of the gate hot like this, it's not about a conversation, and she's a narcissist, so there's no conversation to be had anyway. It's, "I want you to do this. I want you to do this." Or it's coming on loud because it means we're not talking about it.
What color are her eyes there?
Blue.
No, they're like gray.
Well, the quality. I look green right now.
Okay, I don't know what you're seeing.
Okay. I've had a hard time, like, finding a picture, like, I know she wears blue contacts. But finding a real clear picture of her brown eyes, I don't care that much, but wearing blue, changing the color of your eyes. I mean, I'm all for a little nip and tuck, but changing your eye color just seems a bit, that's like wearing a mask. The eyes are the window to the soul. Does she not want people to see her soul?
This is my husband. This is my husband.
Mine.
It reminds me so much of chapter 6 in the book of Nehemiah. He is building a wall, and the townspeople are at the base of that hill saying, Nehemiah, calling him all these names, saying all these things, come on down. Every single time he had the same message 4 times in a row. I cannot come down. I am busy building. That is how I feel. I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent.
When the hell has this bitch been silent? Was there a moment of silence that I missed? When has she been silent? The last few days. But maybe she's done something and I just, I don't know. But the whole my silence, all she's done, even the Fox News viewers, they did a poll because she did like 5 interviews. They were sick of her. There was a poll, Fox News poll, like, stop showing her. We're sick of her just whining and complaining. And I don't care about the noise, and then talking about the noise. She's like erratic. That is not a well-balanced person that should be CEO of anything, let alone probably be alone with her children.
And the most beautiful depiction of standing in the suffering,
She's talking about Mary.
for me, was in John chapter 19, verse 25, where you have Mary, the mother of Jesus, standing at the foot of the cross.
So sorry about that. That's a section that got split up. That was the introduction before she goes on about all the things that Mary was doing or not doing. She doesn't even specifically say she was at the foot of the cross, but we know at one point he addresses John and Mary.
She just watched the most unjust violence take place against the love.
She says love of her life. And in my video, I said, it's mind-blowing to me that she didn't catch on to the fact that Mary watched. Mary was there. She wants to compare herself to Mary, the mother of God. She was there. Mary was there. If she was at the foot of the cross, again, the passion of the Christ. Sometimes we kind of whitewash the whole Jesus died on the cross for my sins. Watch the passion of the Christ. I dare you. I dare you to keep your eyes open, to keep your eyes on the screen. being at the foot of the cross would be a messy place to be. Mary was there. Erika won't even look at the fucking video. I think she should. I think it says something that she won't. Part of the healing process is letting yourself feel stuff. That's why it's dangerous that she did not take any time off. That's why we see all this displaced anger that popping up like a whack-a-mole thing, because she hasn't dealt with it. The wound like is infected. She's I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Just like Donald Trump with the roads in DC, he would make fun of the quotes that were given to fix the roads, because to fix a road, you have to scrape it, tear it down, get to the foundation of it. He's like, we could just put an inch, literally, he's like, we could just put an inch or two of asphalt on the top and paint it and it'll be great. That's in theory what she's doing with her grief. She said one place about people avoiding grief by working. In 2019, I think it was, she gave a talk to a room full of young women about how you don't make decisions in the midst of the storm because you can't think clearly. I would say choosing to be CEO within a week, the storm was still raging at that point. She's dangerous because she's infected, and that spreads. But I think when she said, if she didn't take in there, it could, get in there, it could all burn to the ground. I think she's thinking of the financial crimes. We know they stopped the audit immediately, stopped the audit, even though he put it in writing. Hey, Mom, Dad wanted, what's this audit I keep seeing? Dad wanted an audit. Why did Dad want an audit? What was that about? Why did you not do it? Like Dad said he wanted, like it was in writing. He said you being CEO, Mom, that's not in writing. Like Dad was pretty organized. Like he, everything I see, Mom, like he was really structured and organized. But this is a decision that went against everything he ever taught. Like you being CEO, Mom, went against everything he ever said publicly. It clearly makes him a hypocrite. So you would think he would have it like on video, like a sit down. I'm Charlie Kirk. This is the date. I want Erika to do this. Because it's such a big deal, Mom. They're going to get in her face. But she can't think. She can't think about anything other than some, in my opinion, some financial crimes being blown up.
Do you guys feel that pressure sometimes, that like when you're on, like either on campus or just doing daily life, like you feel that pressure, that spiritual warfare? That's good. That means you're using your life for a purpose. That means you're furthering the kingdom. That means you're truly in the thick of it, the spiritual battle. At some point, through grief, you find ways to endure the grief rather than escape it. Because a lot of people in life are going to try to escape it.
Okay, here's the deal, though. Well, the first thing she said is the rationalization process. If the world is against us, it's because it's the world. If we don't remain teachable, I mean, you see how idiotic that looks. if a significant amount of people, including conservatives, are going, that hug with JD Vance is weird, to do a Kelly interview where you dismiss all of them is she can't be a CEO, because you've got to be able to listen to people. And she's like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with that. If you have a problem with that hug, there's something wrong with you. That's what was said. Those people just need a hug. There's something wrong with them. And then what did she just say? What was the second thing? Crap, what was the second thing she said? Oh, I'm afraid if I pull it back a little bit, I'm gonna. No, I'll do it. Because then I won't be mad at you. Okay, I'm clicking it. So, okay.
But there's something so deeply profound when you're enduring it and when you're sitting in it.
Enduring something is like almost like tolerating. Sitting in it is where it needs to be. Like I'm not going to escape it. I'm not going to self-medicate. I'm not going to go on a shopping spree. I'm not going to drink 3 bottles of wine. I'm not going to do anything other than sit in this moment and feel what I'm feeling. You know, if you feel like you're going to cry, it's cry. Sometimes I get frustrated that, you know, we're in an apartment building, like a condo-ish kind of thing. So we're on the end. There's a unit on the other side of like this wall next to me. I don't think anybody's living in there right now. Sometimes I just resent the fact that I can't cry to the extent that I want to, or just scream in anger, not at Doug or like, but just over a situation. That's got to, affect society as a whole, that we don't have more space to do that. I'm not much for religion after my raising in Utah. I had a similar past as you. You crack me up. I relate. We are ADHD. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. Here's an exercise for you. If you're watching a movie, I almost said a commercial, but people don't see a lot of commercials anymore. If you happen to see a commercial or a TV show and you start to cry, take a moment and ask yourself, what made you cry? And it's more than it's just a sad scene. Like, there are sad scenes that won't make the majority of people cry. It's good to tune into what makes you cry. Okay. Somebody said, I wonder how she automatically inherited a TP organization when she was only married to Charlie for 5 years. Shouldn't there be some kind of probate? Yes, you think so. JD Vance has been in politics for 3 years. He was on Joe Rogan. I didn't watch the whole thing. For some reason, I heard that little bit of it, and I was like, what? 3 years. JD Vance has been in politics for 3 years. In politics for 3 years. Got some news for you, too. He didn't write that book of his. Just for the record, he didn't write it. Allegedly. That's a whole nother thing.
Say grief ends, others say you learn to live with it. But for me, you become very mission focused.
She's 4 months into 5 months, 6 months. Wait, For me, this is what grief is like. I'm gonna pontificate about grief, my grief experience. It hadn't even been a year yet. But by all means, oh great one, share with us your perspective on grief.
Especially when you have kids, and especially when they're young, it would be so easy for me to just surrender and give up. So easy. But my kids are watching me. My kids are watching me. My coworkers are watching me. My family's watching me. Cloud of witnesses is watching me.
That's narcissism. That's narcissism. It can feel like a lot of people are watching her. Kids aren't watching her because she's not around them that much. That is the Bible. Isn't there a phrase? It's like fear of reputation. I think there's a verse that talks about fear of reputation.
No fear of reputation.
Okay, let's listen to that again. This is what it sounds like she's saying. This is her motivating factor. This is what is motivating her.
Especially when you have kids, and especially when they're young, it would be so easy for me to just surrender and give up. So easy. But my kids are watching me. My kids are watching me. My coworkers are watching me. My family's watching me. Cloud of witnesses is watching me. It's not easy. That's
What? Hold on, Doug. What do we? Is that air on? I'm burning up. It's performance. It's not the love of Christ compelling her. People are watching her like she's on stage at a pageant in a bikini. People are effing watching her. That's her motivation in that. That is why she will fail, because it's about people watching her. Chris, that was just a side comment. That's not what she meant. Pay attention to the side comments. They mean everything. It's about watching her. That's why she addresses all the noise. She is obsessed with what people think. Obsessed, which is why she's not transparent about her past, her lies, and the moments are so freaking performative. People tell you who they are.
okay. Again, that means you're over the target in a good way. It means you're a part of the battle. It means you're a part of the army, Lord's army, right?
No.
Someone once told me that eternal life begins the moment that you truly know.
Well, that person is full of shit. You don't get a soul when you're become aware of Christ. We are eternal beings. Our souls existed before we became bodies. I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. Before God, there's plenty of scripture that indicates God says he knew us before us, not our bodies, us, our soul that is trapped in these freaking bodies. Who knows, our soul, when we're like, that just isn't right. It just isn't right, but we can't articulate it. It's because at one time we were with God because he knows us. We don't talk about this a lot, but it's biblical. We were with God. He knew us. And then for some reason we're here, these souls having a human experience. Good to think outside the box. That's going to be the takeaway. Have these conversations. Doug was going to share a verse. You found the verse that was to what? Fear of reputation.
Yeah, it's Philippians 2:7. Jesus made himself of no reputation, took upon him a form of a servant, was made in the likeness of man, showing that humility and service mattered more than status.
Yeah, but there's a verse that specifically like it says like don't have fear of your reputation. Hold on. Fear of reputation.
Fear not the reproach of man,
There you go.
neither be ye afraid of their revilings, which instructs believers not to be shaken when others mock or criticize them.
Yeah. So Proverbs 29:25, fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Galatians 1:10. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or God? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. John 12:43. For they loved human praise more than praise from God. Psalm 118:6. The Lord is with me, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? Proverbs 29:25 is the one that is the closest. Fear of man will prove to be a snare. So there, in some place, it's some version refers to it as fear of reputation. Pretty consuming. Ladies, stop apologizing for everything. If you accidentally bump into somebody, it's not necessarily like your fault. For 1 week, ladies, don't apologize. There are ways you can acknowledge things without using the word I'm sorry. Like it's just a good exercise, but there are things that we apologize for. We don't need to be apologizing for. I have been on the set of significant productions with a female director, and the way that they will talk to people, hey, would you mind doing that for me? The male directors don't do that. Some of us, you know, need to just stop apologizing for everything.
You really have to guard your mind and your heart when you're suffering through grief. You have to, because it's so easy for you to ask, God, why me? Why is this happening to me? Continue to stand firm against the enemy, because what he wants is that weak moment.
So this is another example. It's a weak moment. You are having a weak moment if you say, why me? Not a damn thing wrong, excuse me. Not a damn thing wrong with saying, why me? Nothing wrong with asking the question.
He wants you to ask, why me? So you have to understand, if you're not rooted in God's word, you're not going to have much fruit to bear.
She doesn't know God's word. I have never heard her, never. I know you've probably heard me say, I avoid the word always, never, the absolute words. I have never heard her say anything in like attempting to teach something Bible related that's on point. It gets butchered.
So for those of you who are new to the family, welcome.
She doesn't mean the family of Christ. When she says that, she's not saying the body of Christ. She's saying the family, the Turning Point family. I've heard pastors say, Doug, haven't you like welcome to the body of Christ or something like that? He's saying, yeah. You don't say like the family. She is talking about the Turning Point family. And that's creepy to make that general statement to the church of, and it's also creepy that a dissident calls her out and she mocks them. Pay attention that she will turn here and look to the musician, like play something, like to drown out this person, not hear them, not engage with them, but their voice doesn't matter. Just get them out of the way. Mock them. Demean them. She improperly uses scripture in response. It's not applicable. She calls this person lukewarm. No, the person is on fire for something. And the church, nobody goes after the person and says, I mean, because I've seen video of this person, somebody is like with a camera and is kind of like mocking him, like, what do you want to say or whatever. But nobody is like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? What do you want to talk about this? Get him out of here. Get it. Let him burn. Just get him out of here. That's what the air is. I'm trying to hit it and it's giving me, it's saying back and stuff. Can you hit play for me?
I did marry Charlie Kirk, and I am so proud I did because he's the love of my life. Love of my life.
Really? Because you sound so butch. The woman comes off like a closeted lesbian if I have ever seen one. He's the love of my life. He's the love of my life. She like, it's like she's all but coming out.
Love of my life.
Listen to the drum.
On that note, the Lord provides you strength according to the day.
Really? Really? The Lord provides you with strength to deal with those who would dare question me. She throws out her little bumper sticker theology and they're like, yay, yay. She called out a heathen. God.
So like that, don't live a lukewarm life.
Like that person is living a lukewarm life, bitch. That person has balls. I mean, so does she probably, but that person has balls to be the one person who knows they're going to come under fire, because that's not the first heckler to stand up. She mocked the other one too. No engagement. And just like she did with the other one, she weaponizes the word of God. You think she's not going to do that with her children? You think they're not going to pick up on that? Mom, you're a bitch. Mom, you talk about the love of God. You're a bitch, Mom. I'm not a prophet or anything, but I see those words in her future. Mom, why are you such a bitch? Written in stone.
Don't live a lukewarm life. And I want you to live so on fire for Christ that when you come home at night and you read the book of Psalms, you basically read your entire day. That's how I want you to live your life for Christ. But I just want you to be focused on the endurance of the race and not the acceleration of it. And I don't want you guys to cling to this life. I just want you to hold on to the visual.
She does that constantly. I could have done an hour of her just saying, I want you to. Who are you? That's what they should be asking. Cult leaders give direct, and somebody commented earlier that she doesn't have enough personality to, be a cult leader, but yeah.
Anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there.
Mom, you said no rock would be unturned. So why didn't you ask questions when they dug up where Dad was shot and they paved over it? Like the decision was made like the next day that that dirt had to be dug up, and it was dug up by the time, like on Sunday, the emergency pavers were called to come out and pave over that. Mom, why you brought up rocks? Why didn't you ask that question? Mom, why did they take the car away? I mean, Dad was bleeding. Where did Dad's clothes go? Mom, I listened to that guy talk about like what happened in the car, but that's different than what this other guy said happened in the car. And Mom, you said that he died there. Mom, when did he die? Did he die? Because you said he died instantly, but this other guy said that the surgeons came out and said they got a heartbeat. And then Vice President J.D. Vance said that he heard from the hospital twice because they were in contact that he was still alive. So when did Dad die? They are going to ask every single question Candace Owens is asking and more. She better buckle up. At the conference with the youth leaders, the high schoolers and whatever, she said, in 10 years, I think her daughter will be in Club America. My daughter will be in Club America in 10 years. Really? What if, just throwing it out there, she doesn't want to? What if she doesn't want to go to Club America? So far we have Erika saying her kids will never see the video. They will most definitely be in Club America, that they watch everything she does.
I wonder how many TPUSA chapters there are in private schools. Because, I mean, more than likely, that's where she's going to be going. She's not going to go to a public school.
Damn. He don't say much, but when he does, damn. Are you looking that up about what they do in private schools?
Yes, I am.
He's playing some game. Would you look that up? Those kids are going to be at some posh little private school. They've lied about how many chapters there are. That's been so busted. It's like less than 1 in 10. Wow. She is a sociopath, and that is why she's dangerous. She's emotionally unstable. The detachment, she can, people see her. Joe Rogan and diehard MAGA people have been like, she's freaking weird. Like, she's not fooling anybody. Ugh. Oops.
When you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, my team, they are rocked to the core. I have seen it firsthand impact the people that I love, and I'm done.
She wasn't talking about the kids. She has seen it firsthand impact the people that she loves. She wasn't talking about the kids, because she can just tell them about blueberries and give them a stuffed toy and placate them. She's worried about her team, the ones that do that dirty work for her. I don't like her.
Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do.
I did a breakdown once. The fact that she's like judicial system, that's funny.
Did people just expect you would just go away?
I don't know what they expected.
Not this.
I don't know what they expected. If people think that I was just going to wilt away, I'm not going to sit in a corner and cry and be in fetal position.
I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin.
That was supposed to go. This one was supposed to. If you're new here, if you're late here, I needed another day to get this really polished. But she says, I trust the judicial system. Yet right out of the gate, this is on less than 48 hours. She's saying the man who killed her husband. And she gives, they killed him for his belief in America and God's mercy. And no charges had even been put forth yet. We didn't know anything yet. And then 9 days later, she'll forgive that man, declaring him guilty to the world. So, Mom, you said you trusted the system, but you were really out to get this guy, like, found guilty. And why were you sure? Because there wasn't a screwdriver. And this security guy, his camera cut off right then, and there's a receipt from Tyler Robinson being a long ways away, and they're going to ask her every question. Eventually, they will. In the meanwhile, she is going to train them to not ask questions. The emotional abuse it's already hit the ground running. Hit the ground running.
So that he can be brought to justice. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband.
A crazy boy who lives in me. And he says the things that I don't want to say.
Those were the last couple of clips I didn't throw into the right place. Will you put me up there, Doug? That's so funny. I had already mentioned earlier that, Charlie was perfect. Everything was perfect. Discredit yourself immediately. He was perfect. He was the perfect husband. How can I serve you better today? Shut up. And that Nicki Minaj clip, what she has expressed that multiple beings inhabit herself, and one is a little boy named Roman. It's very public, very out there. Charlie would not have greenlit this. Charlie would not have had a Caroline Leavitt on stage at, I think, Washington University with Erika, saying that women should work. It is better for the woman and for the child if they work. Just contrary Dad was, didn't think we should be involved in any war with Iran. Mom, why? I saw the video of the guy asking you about it, in that hidden camera thing, and you were like, I wish I knew what Charlie would say. Dad knew. Dad, I've seen all these clips of Dad talking about it. So why'd you act like you didn't know? Mom, I don't understand. He said women should not work, that it's so natural for them to be a mom, that should be the focus. And, you would talk about the home being the kingdom, and it just, none of this, what you've done is against everything that you talked about for the 5 years that you knew Dad. And how'd you meet again? How did you and Dad meet? So when you tell the story about being at the airport in Israel and you're like, that guy looks familiar, how does that make sense? Because there's other times where you said you met, and then that Uncle Tyler says that you guys went to a gym together in 2012. How did you meet? Well, I saw this picture of you with Bibi Netanyahu's son, Mom. What was your relationship with him? So Dad said he turned down the money. Like there are board members in Aspen that were there that said Dad never said that he wanted you to take it over and that he turned down money. Why would Uncle Andrew and Uncle Blake, Auntie Blake, say that AI video existed, but then say they were just trolling? Like, that's kind of mean. Like, why would they do that? She's fucked. You see, let's say she doesn't end up in prison. She can't escape this. She can't escape it. We think justice should look like a certain way. Should look a certain way. And it should, but our system is so jacked anyway. But God is pretty clear that justice belongs to him. She can't escape this. She will never escape this. O.J. Simpson went free, but his circles changed. It's not like he went back to the life he had. He was oppressed, as he should have been. Life's not fair. It's not fair. People don't always get what we think they deserve. They get it sooner or later. And in the meanwhile, the things that upset us about them, we need to make sure we're not doing them ourselves. God, look how she was manipulating the scripture. God, do I do that? Like there's this Bible verse I throw out all the time. Some people might think like it's our go-to Bible verse. But have you like studied the verse? Like, have you broken down? Like, are you sure you're using it in context? Her bling bothers me. It's so pretentious and worldly looking. Are there things that I do that would appear that way to other people? And we don't, judge as you would be judged kind of thing. So some things like that, it's tacky. We don't like the style, but you learn what things to let go. Somebody asked 3 years before becoming VP or including.
I took it as including.
I took it as including too.
I've been in politics for 3 or 4 years now. Is what he said.
He said 3 years. So let me.
He said 3 or 4. I watched the clip.
Okay.
100 times.
When did you see how Doug got louder to shut me down? That's what when did JD Vance enter politics? He formally entered electoral politics in 2021 when he ran for the U.S. Senate from Ohio. In July 1st, 2021, Vance officially announced his Senate campaign. He was elected in that was bought. That seat was bought. Did you even ever hear of him as a senator? When he first came on the scene, people that were familiar with him were like, "We hate him. We hate him." He's what in college we would call a jellyfish, like a person that was a jellyfish that just didn't have any spine. Okay, let's I'm so tired, and I just realized it's after midnight. Hello, people. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those that have ordered Think Happy stuff. Our merch is from a gift company that, I mean, it's all here. It's all in our home, and we pack it, and Doug packs it and gets it to you. He goes to the post office every day. Like this shirt, Think Happy stuff. We now have this like in a red wash, which is so cool. And some of our sweatshirts have pockets, and the caps are in the embroidered Think Happy stuff in the 4-color. Spend some of your blueberry budget on Think Happy stuff to support, to show your support. We would appreciate it. You keep us going. This is what we do. Didn't set out to do this, yet here we are. I've stepped away from doing a stand-up. I really enjoy doing this. Don't really have the energy. Otherwise, I have walked back some of the acting stuff because I really love being with you guys. You're cheap. You're a cheap and nasty person for doing this. You know it's not true, yet you put on your sunglasses. These are not sunglasses, but okay. To hide your shame and play such a video that you know is not true. Barry, you're new here. What? Don't worry about it. You don't need to block them. Don't block them. Okay, well, don't. There's no need to. There's no need to block. Barry, I have eye infection issues, and I go to a doctor. I don't have shame. I reject your shame, and I'm sorry that you're experiencing it. Clearly, there's something that you're wrestling through, feeling shame about. Because there's nothing wrong with asking questions and having this conversation. If I am wrong about something, Barry, say it specifically. And I will address it specifically. If I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. I think somebody called Barry a liar. That's sad. That's too bad. I mean, there's a lot of times people that throw out the lying accusation, like really, like that are trolling like this. It's a lot of times they're children of like adult children of alcoholics. And so Barry is working through some stuff. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, Barry, but you need to stay in your lane because this is my house. So if he acts up again, you can send him to his room. Okay. Are there any, what are you laughing about? What, babe? Hendrix. Honey, you got to talk like, well, then don't laugh out loud, please, because then I want to like engage because I want to know what's funny. Honey, I can't see like all of them. So I don't, and what you think is funny, I may not find funny. There's a good possibility that that's true. They are burning the house down on purpose, y'all, for to believe they would make all these mistakes on accident. You know, I think we give people too much credit. Like, I think a lot. I think we tend to maybe find some comfort in if really bad things are happening, it's by really organized people, or because then there's some order to that. But the reality is there's just a lot of stupid people in positions of power, and it causes chaos. But who knows?
You are so far back in the chat.
I know. Okay, I am. Are there any like supers I need to
No.
address? She looks demonic. Her whole being, like it looks odd. And then the fact that she wears blue colored contact lenses. The way that her hair was straightened, that's probably a 4-hour process. Maybe 3 if 2 people are doing it. But he'd been dead less than 2 days, and she spent at least 4 hours having her hair straightened, if not longer. Okay. Apparently during the trial, she wore mascara that was not waterproof and did the thing that she started doing because people were like, "She's not really crying," where she started doing these interviews where the snot and the tears just stayed on her face forever before finally going, "Thank you," and then, "Excuse me." I mean, it's just ridiculous. But apparently the judge, like, gave her like a "I'm not falling for your shit" kind of look because she had streaked mascara going down her face. All right. Again, women, the challenge is to not apologize. You could now here's the deal. No, to not say the words "I'm sorry." I don't think anybody should just say the word "I'm sorry." It doesn't really mean anything. So I was wrong about that. Please forgive me. I made a mistake. I want to acknowledge my mistake. It's a good like exercise to not use the words "I'm sorry." Um I think she's gay. I think she be gay. And Blake, he's not married, is he? Blake's not married. And in Turning Point, if that's an option, you get married. You get married. Yeah, from what I understand, anybody that watched it was like Charlie died instantly. That like there was no way he was gonna live. And so I wasn't arguing that see he was really alive, just the contradiction of information. All right, I'm not going to share details about the painting, but I do want to give you a closer look. I'm so freaking excited about the one that leaves tomorrow. I love that. I've got work all over the freaking world, but maybe not where you are. Oh, I love this one. I might regret selling this, but it can go this way, or it can go this way, or it can go this way. It can go this way. But you can probably tell there's like a lot of texture to it. And it's on wood. I repurpose. I really try I try not to buy new canvases. So I'll go to Goodwill, thrift store, wherever, and buy canvases that are like have already been used, or like if you go to a Hobby Lobby or wherever, and they have Bible verses or whatever on wood placards or whatever. I'll use those.
You paint over the Bible verses?
So you never know what you're getting. Never know what you're getting. But if you want details on it,
the email is in the chat, tipscontactus.com.
Okay. Wow, I'm tired. Thank you for the compliments on the work. She's a self-described sneakerhead. Yeah, she is. Very gay coded for a woman. I've never heard a woman, not that that's my scene, but say, call herself a sneakerhead. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but my boyfriend died, Sonny, I'm sorry, honey, March 2023 in California. We will talk every day, even when he was on set during a film. Not one day goes by without me crying. Yeah. When she spoke at the first Make Heaven Crowded event in California in January, she got a little choked up and, she's like, I didn't think I'd like still be crying, or it's like, wow. Here's this is a side note, but this came up because my closest friend, this is going to be a little deep, but my closest friend of 20 something, maybe 30, gosh, 30 years now or more. We were pregnant around the same time, and her baby was born named Noah, with heart defects, and he only lived a few days. And that was on August 29th, which happens to be my birthday. That was 30 years ago. And we were missionaries doing work overseas, and we're actually in Maine on furlough, but I could not get to the burial. I spent so much time trying to figure out flights, and it was going to be like $2,000 or something, just insane. And on August 29th, like a week from whenever, they are actually having him moved to a family plot. He was buried in Franklin, Tennessee, and to Columbia. Because it's shorter notice, the rates, the airfare is really high. And I was like wrestling through like how to go, like how to make it work to go. And because I'm still having eye infection issues, we kind of landed at that it would be best not for me to go anyway, because I don't see the doctor till Thursday. All this to say, if you were interested in art and wanted like have frequent flyer miles, that is a discussion to be had. Somebody in Norway, there was a pilot I met who was from Norway, and when he bought a piece like 5 years ago, like he paid in Bitcoin. It was funny. I was like, what, really? Like, I'm so not like that world. I don't understand it. But it just occurred to me that, I'm not, I would love to go and be there for her in Nashville for the 30 on the 29th, but it's may not be the best thing for me to go for like the eyes and other reasons. So, but it made me think that, okay, the air miles thing is good too. Right now, you buy with your purchases with Think Happy stuff or the artwork, it is working toward us getting a new laptop. And we're about halfway there, thanks to my friend who purchased the art that is leaving tomorrow. Okay, That seriously, the one that I just showed you, that art, it's one of my absolute favorites. There's actually a little bit of a gold undertone, and it shifts, like the color will change. Um, your mom passed away unexpectedly, excuse me, in 2024. My heart still grieves. Little things that remind me of her still bring me to tears. Yeah. That's very, very, very natural. Somebody said she's not a sneakerhead. She's just trying to do whatever she can to try to draw attention to herself. No, she's genuinely a sneakerhead. Like she genuinely is a sneakerhead. Um, there are pictures of the shoes, and people are familiar with how much they cost. And it's she wears like the sneakers all the time, and they're like a specialized kind of thing. Like it really is a thing. Um, all right. I think you're great. Please stop snapping at Doug. He's doing his best to make you even better. Oh. I don't even know what to do with that. Doug, what do you want me to say to the person that complains about your tone?
Thank you for speaking out.
Do you really feel like I've been picking
No,
on you?
you don't pick on me.
No, because you don't understand. Like your sense of humor, like doesn't translate. So people are gonna think like I don't like. This isn't so much fear of reputation as I shared earlier about a narcissistic relationship and abuse issues, and to not want to appear not wanting to appear like, so part of me is just like I just kind of wanted to laugh and move on, but I also don't want to dismiss like the concern that somebody has, because I know like somebody reached out to me and said they thought Doug talked really mean to me and was really concerned and I shouldn't be in a relationship like that. So so for you to say thank you for speaking out, even though you didn't say it seriously, like I just said, they can't see your face. And so I'm concerned about um
Well, I mean, if you look at some of the comments, some people say the humor translates. I am not always aware of my tone. I mean, that's not just something you've said. That's been an issue in vocations. So it's something I have to consciously be aware of.
No, they were talking about me speaking mean to you.
All right, I'm totally confused. No, you don't speak mean to me.
No.
Yes, my tone can come across the wrong way.
Oh yeah, no, honey, I was addressing somebody saying, "Don't be mean to or snap at Doug. He's doing the best to make you better." And
I don't feel snapped at.
okay, so like cuz you said
Team effort.
thank you for speaking out
I
like
was
that
joking when I
yeah.
said that.
I just like I am hugely tired, and I do think I've been a couple times a little more snappy, and because there are times he genuinely gets on my nerves or I'm frustrated with his tone. And so, you know, welcome to the real world. I, you know, what's cool about us is that this isn't one of those, well, imagine what goes on behind the scenes if they're snappy. And like, this is it. I mean, I'm like going on 60. I'm not going to like be performative here. Um, Somebody said, thank you for the company, Tom. Tom says, while I sew in South Africa. I'm so glad you're here. And just for the record, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with her that if she is gay. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I think a lot of the problem, it's not, I think, I mean, it's a reality that a lot of the problems that we see by those in government who legislate so vehemently against such issues, it comes out that they've been spending quite a bit of time on Grindr. I mean, Lindsey Graham, wow. Whoa. Whoa. My church just came back from a mission trip to South Africa. Beautiful seamstresses there. I love the work you guys do. We like Doug. I like Doug too. I like him. It's always an interesting litmus test. You know, like, because you can go, oh, I love somebody. I love. But do you like them? Big difference between like and love. All right, guys. Hang up. Time to hang up. I didn't say I was 60. Somebody says you're beautiful for 60. Oh, okay. And first of all, whoa. What do you mean for 60? People are either beautiful or they're not. Not beautiful for your age, just beautiful or not. In a couple weeks, I turn 58. I feel like I've known you my whole life. Suzanne, what a beautiful thing to say. You're stunning, and I can't wait till you come on. Thank you. That's considering I don't know that we've done a dozen of these yet. So you've been very patient. My friend that's an attorney sent me photos when Erika was doing pageants. She truly believes Erika's a man. The pictures are quite telling. Sonny, you need to email me. Okay? Doug put it, what'd you say it is? Tips?
Contact us.
Tips at contact us?
No.
Tips.
Contact us at gmail.com.
TIPS, contactus.com.
No.
What?
At gmail.com.
I'm so tired. Okay. Okay. I gotta go to bed, which is like just feet away from me. So I could just like roll myself over there. Just gonna roll myself over. Oh my gosh, you just said for your age. You're trolling me now. Both of you are beautiful for your age. I would love to hear from you. If you have pictures, I would love to hear from people who knew her in college and back in the day. I will check every bit of source and find a collaborate. I can't make the words. It's late. I love you guys. I appreciate you. We will not be on tomorrow. I will throw a few things up like in shorts or videos. And consider following me on Instagram, please, which is also What the Feckety. Please check out our website. If you have not been there yet, thinkhappystuff.com. It's under my name that Doug has put down there. So it's just the Think Happy Stuff, STUFF.com. And that's our company. It's been around since 2006. And let me know if you're interested in artwork, and I can send you pictures of other things as well. So, all right. You guys are awesome. You hang up. You